What happens when your summer camping trip, your daily commute, or, your first real job becomes the setting for a real-life horror story? Today, we're going to dive into 3 supposedly true accounts of ordinary people who just stumbled into moments of pure, unexpected terror.
So, let's start with a really chilling thought. Imagine you're somewhere you shouldn't be, hiding in the dark, and you realize you're not alone. But the person hiding with you, well, they have a much, much darker secret.
Our first story kicks off with a classic summer ritual, a camping trip. Our narrator, who, let's just say he isn't exactly an outdoorsy guy, brings his friend Charles along on a trip with his rugged, wilderness-loving dad. What was supposed to be just a boring weekend was about to turn into an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, so that whole idea of a remote, peaceful spot in the woods, it just vanished. Instead, they found themselves in this glorified campsite with, paved walkways and, of all things, a mini amusement park right next door. You can just feel the disappointment.
So, what do 2 bored teenagers do when they're staring at a closed amusement park? Well, of course, they decide to break in. Fueled by a little bit of delinquency and a whole lot of adrenaline, they hatch a plan to scale the fence, dodge security, and climb a roller coaster. It felt like a video game, A thrilling, risky mission.
After they actually pull it off and climb the coaster, they start to head back. On the way out, they duck behind a little snack shack to avoid a security guard's golf cart. And that's when the narrator sees it. Just a flicker of movement in the shadows that was definitely not his imagination.
And then Charles sees it too. About 30 feet away, wedged between 2 buildings, there's another person doing the exact same thing they are, crouching, hiding, trying to stay out of sight. But something was immediately wrong. This was not some other teenager just sneaking around for fun.
As this figure darts across a tiny patch of light from a nearby lamppost, they get a clear look for just a split second. It's a man in tattered clothing. But the most unsettling detail, the thing that made their blood run cold, was the dark, thick liquid smeared all across his face. It wasn't mud. It definitely wasn't paint. In that one single, horrifying moment, they both knew exactly what they were looking at. It was blood. They scrambled back to their tent, and all that thrill from their adventure was just gone, replaced by this deep, cold fear.
The next morning, their worst fears are confirmed. A camp staffer gets everyone together and announces that a man was murdered at a nearby lake the night before. The suspect is described as a disheveled man who might have blood on him. The description is a perfect match. The entire campground is immediately evacuated.
But here's the kicker. They never told anyone. Not their parents, not the park rangers, nobody. The narrator says that at that age, the fear of getting in big trouble for trespassing was actually stronger than the need to report what they saw. It's just a really unsettling look at how fear can scramble our priorities, making us choose saving our own skin over doing the right thing. It's a decision, he says, still haunts both of them to this day. So that feeling of being an unseen witness to something awful is one kind of fear. But what happens when the danger actually sees you? Our next story takes us to a train platform during a very real and very strange period of public panic, the Great Clown Hysteria of 2016. Now, for anyone who doesn't remember this, 2016 was weird. There was this wave of creepy clown sightings all over the country. Most of them turned out to be hoaxes, but the fear was absolutely real. It created this atmosphere where an encounter like this felt not just possible, but terrifyingly plausible. Our narrator, a 16-year-old high school junior, is on his totally normal train ride home, and he is completely zoned out, headphones in, music blasting, scrolling through flashcards on his phone. He is about as unaware of his surroundings as a person can be. The train doors slide open at his stop and he gets up to leave, basically on autopilot. But something's blocking his path. He looks up from his phone and everything just freezes. It's not just a person, it's a clown. And he was wearing the whole getup, the cartoonishly large clothes, red suspenders, giant shoes, and smeared white makeup. The only thing missing was the big, colorful wig. The clown just stood there, completely silent, not getting on the train, but very clearly stopping our narrator from getting off. And from there, things just escalate with terrifying speed. The narrator tries to push past him, but the clown actually lunges, trying to tackle him. As our guy dodges and just starts running, he glances back and sees it. The clown is now holding a kitchen knife and is chasing him right through the station. He manages to bolt out onto the street and immediately calls the police, but by the time they arrive to investigate, the clown is gone. He just vanished as quickly and as mysteriously as he appeared, leaving the narrator completely shaken and paranoid for weeks.
All right, for our last story, we've got a job that sounded a little strange from the start, but the pay was way too good to pass up. A recent graduate takes a lifeguarding gig for some quick cash, only to realize he wasn't just watching over a pool. He was in way, way over his head.
I mean, the red flags were there from the jump. First, the hours were just bizarre for a pool, a 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. night shift. Second, the listing specifically asked for someone who didn't speak Spanish, which was really weird in a predominantly Spanish-speaking town. But that third detail, $30 an hour, was enough to make him ignore the first two.
So over the first few weeks, the strange details just keep piling up. You've got these guys with blue wristbands who get access to a locked pool house, and they always leave with fuller backpacks. Other people start overpaying the entrance fee in cash by huge amounts. And when the narrator asks his boss about it, he just gets shut down immediately.
And then it hits him, all at once. This wasn't just a weird hotel pool. He was working the front for a criminal operation. The late hours, the cash, the secret pool house, it all pointed to one thing: money laundering. Or maybe something even worse. But even knowing the danger, he stays for the money. And that's when he makes a huge mistake. His mom calls, he steps away to take the call, and starts speaking Spanish with her. When he hangs up, his other boss, Esteban, is standing right there, and he asks him one single, terrifying question.
Our narrator tries to play dumb, but he knows it's useless. Esteban just stares at him, completely silent. And in that silence, he is absolutely certain his boss is making a calculation, deciding right then and there what to do with an employee who now knows way too much.
He was told to come in early the next day for a new opportunity. He never went back. He just left town and lived in paranoia for months. So you've got hiding from a murderer, running from a clown, and staying silent in a criminal enterprise. It's flight and it's freeze. Each story is a powerful example of how our survival instincts just take over when we're faced with unimaginable fear. Which really leaves us with one final thought. What would you have done?